Welcome you all to the Trinity Tech Cast. This is episode 135, and as you realize, I'm here by myself because it's a long weekend in Trinidad and Tobago. It's the Diwali weekend, and when we have long weekends, my co-hosts tend to have lives. Actually, if I'm totally honest with you, they were ready to record on Sunday, which was yesterday, but I wasn't because I was out doing my most favorite thing to do on the night before a holiday, which is play Monopoly. So it's my fault that we didn't have an whole episode, but we did have an interview episode that I had lined up for a few weeks, and I'm going to go into that interview episode now with somebody who has my name. So that's not what I was supposed to tell you all. Today was the 20th of the 10th. The 20th of the 10th. It's Diwali in Trinidad and Tobago. So if you all hear any noises in the background, because I am living in a place where people burst bamboo still. For those of you all who don't know what bursting bamboo is, they basically put pitch oil inside bamboo and make it explode. So if you hear that and my dog barking, it's because bamboo busting in Trinidad and Tobago. But that's okay. Let's welcome Andrew to the stage. Good. And I say Andrew because I just have a problem saying my name. Yeah, like I never... It's very, very weird for me to meet somebody who has my name and I keep saying Andre because, fun fact, I was talking to myself, right? And I'd be like, Andre, you doing shipping this boy? Andre, what are you doing? Andre, you're better than that. And that's the only time I say my name. So when I say my name, it's usually in the context of correcting myself. But welcome, Andre Burton, all the way from Trinity, formerly from Caranage. That's what he told me. That's the only intro I have about him. How are you going, sir?
All right. I'm doing well. Enjoying the long weekend. So I'm glad we get the time to have this conversation.
Yeah. All right. Did you do the quintessential Trinity thing and eat curry today?
Actually, I ate curry last night. And I had fast food today. So I didn't do the Trinity thing. I don't know which one to say.
Right. I understand. All right, Olia. So we're going into this thing. Andre will tell us a lot about himself as we go along. But today's episode is about CountmeinTT, which is a maths tables game. So we're going to talk about CountmeinTT a little bit, then we're going to talk about how we got it onto our website and have children all over Trinidad and Tobago. And I think, I don't know, maybe in the Caribbean by now, starting to play it also. And then we'll talk a little bit about how technology works in education, because he is an education-minded, focused dude. So that's the kind of things I like, and I love when people use technology to do different things. And this one is education, so it's education and technology. We're in my bag right now. We are in my bag. So let's go to the first segment and we'll introduce ourselves. We'll talk to Andre, and it's still sounding weird, boy, but anyhow, we're coming. Right now you're listening to Trinity Tech Cast, and more than likely you know that I love technology a lot, but more so I love teaching technology. I'm a CSEC IT and Cape Computer Science and IT teacher, and I have classes that are available. So if you know any student that's looking for quality Cape Computer Science or CSEC IT classes, you can check us out 308-8799 on WhatsApp or make it simpleTT.com/register. You can get classes, notes, recordings, IA, SBA help, everything that you could think of that will get you that one in CSEC IT. So you can check us out. All right, so CountmeinTT at a maths tables game, right? I'll go and share it on the screen. Before I ask you about your background and your life and all that kind of thing, I want people to actually see that this is a real thing that was built, that you did, and the whole...
Check it out though, because we had some upgrades done on Friday. So I don't know if you were able to visit since then, but...
Yeah, I actually played today. I actually played on the website today, and I went on. I came prepared, you know. I came prepared. Like I was I'm going to demo this thing, live. Yeah. So this is this is it before you finish, before you start playing, right? So I chose the basic version because of course I'm a noob, and I was like, okay, how is it supposed to work? It's supposed to be like 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 3 is 3, 1 times 4 is 4, 1 times 5 is 5. And then go back down as fast as possible. And then do the 2 times tables. 2, 4, 6, 6, 8, and then 10. Okay. And you can kind of game the system. And in the end, what's supposed to happen is you get a leaderboard like this, right? And oh shucks, it start over. No, it refresh. I had my I was ready to choose my school and thing now. Okay, let me go.
No, well,
3.
Yeah, go back into it. If you go back into it and you can click the tab for leaderboard, it will see.
3, 6. No, I want to complete it. I want my name in the archives.
All right, wonderful.
What is
4 times the
8, 12, 16, and 20 should be. And the last one should be 5, 10, 15. This was the easiest tables ever. 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25. Right. Now, when you finish now, the leaderboard will pop up. It'll ask you for your student name, and I'm going to put my name, Andre, caps lock on, Charles, and select a school. Let me tell you the school I went to. I went to Tunapuna Boys RC School. You better have it. Oh, yes, Tunapuna Boys RC School is there. All right. And I'm going to put my email and submit time. Right. Now that I submit the time, it's saying submitting. Time was successfully submitted. And now I could go to the leaderboard and see. Oh, cool. Somebody do this in 16 seconds?
That's right. Yeah.
Whoa. That's crazy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the leaderboard is there and everything. And it says thanks for playing and whatnot. So that's the live demo of the game. The reason I wanted the live demo at first is because there's actually what you did. And I want to know the story of how you came up with it and how it transitioned from its humble beginnings, because every app does start off in very humble beginnings and then it just transitioned to our website. So talk to me about that. Let me hear how it started off.
So I've been a mathematics tutor since I finished the CXC. That was like 16 years ago. And
16 over the years ago, I've just been... I calculated the age. Sorry, go ahead.
Over the years, that has been a consistent part of my life, teaching mathematics. It naturally came about from me just helping my friends out in class. But in 2019, I registered an official business, EA's Online Tutoring Services, because I worked in the bank for a number of years. I spent some time in the seminary, and I came to the point where I wanted to really dive headfirst into entrepreneurship and basically working for myself.
Right.
I started EA's Online Tutoring Services. And over the years, clientele has grown. You know, I registered in 2019 and then COVID came in 2020. And that by the time COVID hit, I was already set up and running a lot of classes online. Yeah. So the way it happened, it became consistent. Clientele grew. And one tool in particular that I was using, because I do one-on-one tutoring for primary school and secondary school students. Mm-hmm. And a tool I was using is an Excel spreadsheet, 12 by 12 grid on Excel.
Hold on, wait. What you're telling me is that you went on Excel and then you just like, I'm gonna create a timetables thing here and start to use formulas and functions. Just like, okay, go ahead. You get me excited there.
It wasn't as complicated as the formulas and functions because I just remember when I was in primary school, timetables was something that we were drilled with a lot. And I had a practice of just writing out the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and to me that helped me remember it a lot. Now that I'm teaching it, I understand the mechanics behind it. You're recognizing patterns, a lot of different things from just doing times tables.
Right. Yeah.
And I decided, okay, I need to find out, because I was diving into something I didn't really know much about in terms of teaching one-on-one. And then trying to keep up with what students doing in class, trying to keep up with the homework. So I had to be creative to keep students engaged. And one of the things I was able to do is just build it actually started on Google Sheets, 12 by 12. And what I would do is that I will ask my students to complete as fast as they can, right? Mm-hmm. The first time they do it, they don't really understand what's happening, and they think, this is kind of annoying and kind of long. and we'll log their time on the sheet. I'll put the date and I'll put the time. I then began to do that every single month. So we had to do that exercise once a month. And every time they were about to do it, I would tell them the goal of doing this right now is to beat your previous time.
Mm-hmm.
And as time went on, I began to ask them, okay, now you need to pick a time that you want to make. So students, when they first start off, they might do it in about 15 minutes. This is primary school students.
What
And
age?
about 15 to 20.
Ranging from as low as what, 7, 8?
Not so low because we're doing 12 times tables. So like
Okay, all
standard
right.
3.
Yeah.
So that's
So
around
9, 10, 11. Yeah, 9, 10, 11,
11,
somewhere.
yeah.
Okay, right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So around that age, and what I began to recognize is after some time, they became very excited about it. And they would actually ask, sir, when we go on to the time trial, sir, we could do it. I want to beat my time. And then it eventually became like they're asking for printouts so that they could practice it at home.
Mm-hmm.
And
Just to come back to win.
Just to come back to win and to beat their
Right.
time and to improve their time, you know?
Yeah.
But the tool is so powerful because while they're doing the exercise, I get them to see where they're slowing down, what parts of the timetable they're struggling with, and they're recognizing it for themselves too. And I would, after the exercise, I would go into it and say, okay, what part is slow down at? You realize you need to do more work there, and you know, so the tool is so many different things they could do with it, right? And after some time again, I just was like, you know what, I want to be able to make this more accessible. You know, I've seen the benefits of it because apart from them improving in the school, the confidence began to grow. That was one of the major things for me. Well, one thing I like to point out with students is that you need to understand and you need to know what you know. And in this times tables exercise, when they realize, wait, now I could do this. And not only could I do it, but I could do it faster each time and I could do it better. And that just build the confidence level, and the parents would talk about it, and it was very impactful. So I felt like it was a tool that would be beneficial to students. I'm very passionate about teaching mathematics, and I would like more people to be able to be successful in maths because over 50% of students at the SEA and CSEC level every single year fails mathematics.
Yeah, correct.
Not again a 3, you know, they're failing all right.
Yeah.
And that to me is a very terrible problem for the society. You can have so many people failing mathematics. So I felt that this should be more accessible. And it was sometimes
before you go on, when in the process of dealing with these younger children who want the competition, right? There are many different teaching strategies that people could use, and one of the things, of course, is making it into a competition. In making it gamification, in making it a competition, did you see any drawbacks because of it, where some people who weren't as sharp were always not getting the highest times, and then they wanted to be like, nah, sir, I don't want to play because I'm not good at it or whatnot? Did you ever encounter that or anything?
Well, because I was doing one-on-one classes, I didn't have that, right? And what I really encouraged more so is for the students to compete against themselves. And as I would tell them, you need to pick a target time. I would encourage them to go, because it was just a spreadsheet and you could click the tabs with all the different names. I still have it on the Google Drive. And I will encourage them, go and look at the other times that students making so that they can see what is possible. But within the context of their session, they're not competing with anybody, they're competing with themselves. And that's one thing I really want to emphasize as I go forward with this project. Students need to compete with themselves and not too much study. The competition, yes, it is fun. That makes it exciting and fun. But the more beneficial thing was for them to compete against themselves. So I didn't face that issue that you're asking about there.
Right. Okay. I got you. I wanted to know that because myself also, I have to deal with that on a daily basis by teaching lots of children now. So you have to be like, okay, gamification is cool, but some of them, they don't like when they don't like when they get me caught now. Like I'm not fast enough, I'm not good enough. Yeah. So okay, cool. Yeah. All right. So go ahead with you wanted to get it to be better or more bigger.
Accessible.
Yeah, more accessible. Right. So how did that
last year I started thinking it through, like what could I do And I was just talking to a few people in IT to see what's possible. And I wasn't getting any kind of real direction up to the end of last year. And earlier this year, I had the idea of, well, I've been using ChatGPT a lot since it launched. And I work a lot because I do a lot of different types of things besides tutoring. So my workload is a lot, and ChatGPT is a big help in that way. And it's basically like my assistant now, my secretary, and I sat down and we was having a conversation about. I was like, I have this Excel spreadsheet. If I give you, I just want to type in the ChatGPT. If I give you an Excel spreadsheet, can we make can we make it into a website? I think that was the initial question that I made, something along those lines. This would have been
Okay.
in April, right? And we started going back and forth. I saying him, the chatbot asking me to clarify what I was looking for. And I explained, okay, my background is in tutoring. I've been using this and I realized it have some improvements in the students' work and this kind of. So we had a real in-depth conversation about the background behind it as well. And then we eventually came to the point where I realized, wait now, ChatGPT could write code and give you a whole console to preview the code in it too. I didn't know all of that. Like everything I was doing at that point was basically me diving into things I had no idea about, to be very honest, because I only did IT up to Form 2. And
Okay, hold on,
I,
wait. Cause we're gonna go into this. We're gonna go into this next segment, just all right. But that's all. So what you're saying is you wanted to find a way to get it to become more accessible. I put it on our website, and you just like, let me just use AI. Let me use ChatGPT to see if it could help me. But you weren't 100% sure that ChatGPT could help you
no, I
until
wasn't sure.
until you realize, wait now, this thing could do the code for me, and I
Yeah.
don't need to learn the code, because generally speaking, when people hear code or coding, they start to be like, wait boy,
It's
I
at a panic. You don't even understand
yeah,
that language. Like that black
yeah,
screen and this other thing coming up. That's how I would describe coding. I would be like that black screen thing, because I
yeah,
didn't even
yeah,
know that I
yeah.
had to go into coding. Honestly, I skipped a step because first I was going to like the generic Squarespace sites to see if I could
Right.
just take the sheet onto it. And then
Okay,
asking
okay.
ChatGPT about it, ChatGPT was like, well, no, you cannot host those kind of things on that kind of site. We need to do
Right.
something else. And I know I was going back and forth with him, and he clarified a lot of things that I didn't know before. You
How
understand?
you saying ChatGPT as he? All right, hold on. Let me take a break, and then we'll come back and talk about the technical things, and we'll talk about he who is ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Well, you probably made it this far in the podcast. That means you probably like technology a lot and like to at least hear us talk about technology. And that also means you may know somebody or somebody who knows somebody or somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who wants a website built or an app built or some sort of technology integrated in their business. If you want to help them out, you could send them to Make It Simple TT, send them to us. And we have business services that range from building websites to building apps to invoicing systems to ensuring that technology is used in your company, to installation of routers, buying things online. So you could check us out, 308-8799. You could check our services out, or you could go to makeitsimplett.com and see some of the things that we've done, and maybe give a recommendation to our website built or something like that. All right, so we back, right? And right now we're talking about how hard it is to actually build a website. So we reached to the point, we are at the point where you and ChatGPT are his friends, or they're like
Right. Yeah.
but
Yeah. With
buddies,
buddies.
and you come back
Yeah.
on the next day and be like, all right, here's what happened. I tried this or that didn't work, however the case is, right? And that's exactly how I am with AI right now. The amount of things I
Yeah.
built for school with Gemini. Well, I use Gemini because I'm a Google kind of guy, and it's just
Okay.
integrate well with Google Drive and all the different things, right?
Sure. Okay.
So
Yeah.
me and Gemini be like, we be fighting sometimes. We be fighting sometimes. I'll be like, listen,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
asked you to
We
do
have
this,
access.
but it still didn't work, and it'll be apologize and like, okay, sorry, I really tried my best and whatnot, and I just be like, listen, what I want is this, and what I want is that, and yeah. So
Yeah.
let me hear how
Yeah.
your fight was going.
Yeah. Well, it was really a fight because eventually he did give me something that looked like the grade that I originally had.
Yeah,
And we had to talk about a lot of other things like color scheme, what will work best for children, and layout, and these kind of things. And when we eventually got what I wanted, I was like, okay, we need to save this, and anything from here, we're going to build on it. We're going to add to it, right?
right.
I thought once I tell him that, he will do that moving forward. That was not supposed to happen.
that
That
was a
was
lie
not
for
supposed
sure.
to happen. When it's time to like, okay, I want to add a button for the leaderboard, he might write over the entire code, erase everything that was there before, and just give me something to agree upon.
Yes. Trust me, I know.
Like, this is not what I asked you to do.
Yeah,
This is not
yeah.
what I asked you to do. And I literally had to had that argument. And this honestly went on for weeks because this
Mm-hmm,
is not the only
mm-hmm.
thing I'm doing. I'm doing other work. So I would have to do that anytime when I have the time. And after a few weeks, I began to understand how ChatGPT understands, right? And I realized you need to be very specific. Every single time, it will just work better that way. Um,
Yeah.
and as I began to understand it, then we were able to come up with a full code. And
Like,
at that point,
um,
yeah,
just no, like that's the thing that I've noticed and other people I've spoken to have noticed with AI that the more you know about the subject area that you're asking questions about, the more specific your questions could be, and the more
yeah,
specific your questions are, the better your output will be. So, like, people think that, yeah, I could just go in ChatGPT and tell it to do the code for me, but if you're able to speak a little more language like JavaScript and HTML and div and
right,
center and all those
yeah,
different words, you tend to get a
yeah,
better output. And I have experienced that same thing. Like if I go and try and ask something about farming and I don't use the correct terms, it will just be
yeah,
like, give me the best answer it could give me. But if I start to like ask somebody who actually knows about farming, wait now, what are you really supposed to do with this? And they'll be like, yeah, it have this thing called neem. I was like, neem? What is neem? And then when you go in the prompt now and you put in neem, then it'll give it some more context and you get a better answer. So what you're talking
right,
about there, I have experienced and multiple people have experienced that if you are if you are knowledgeable in a particular subject area, prompting the AI gets a lot easier. But
that,
you weren't like, fully knowledgeable in the specific area. So you went through weeks and weeks of prompting and reprompting and reprompting, and you learned a lot
yeah,
about how to communicate specifically.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
specifics,
correct,
okay.
correct.
All right.
I didn't even know ChatGPT, the thread had an end. Like it eventually she said, we can no longer do any more
What?
messages and it just start a new
you
thread. You
you
know,
reach the
first
end of
was
the
so
road?
long.
Way.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh
Yeah,
damn.
it was
I
that
didn't know that.
intense.
I didn't know
It
that
was that
reaching
intense,
there.
but I really wanted to get this executed, you know.
But why
Um,
though? Like why you had such a desire to fight through this? Because there are plenty teachers after prompt number 3 and they don't get the correct thing, they just be like, nah, this
yeah,
AI thing not making no sense. It's not that you're
yeah,
young and you because there's always say young people as wanted like doing more and older people as just give up quicker, right? But it's not that
mm,
your youth was pushing you. You actually had this intense burning desire, like I have to figure this out. Where that come from
yeah.
though?
That's a real good question, you know. Where did that come
Yeah,
from? I think
yeah.
once things that I'm passionate about, I just have a drive, um, and a determination to stick to it, to figure it out. I kind
Uh
of have I guess it's a kind of pride in myself, you know, like, hey, I get to figure this out in the end. I don't like, I don't go about boasting like in that way, but for myself, I feel accomplished, that I was able to figure this out, you know. I
okay,
believe
okay.
one of my philosophies
Uh-huh.
in education is that you cannot really teach somebody something. You just have to kind of help them find it. Because I believe we have most of the things that we need already within us. So all of these different philosophies that are carrying around kind of push me to just stick with it. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted, I know the benefits of it. I know it's beneficial. And this kind of pushed me into doing research behind the results of mathematics in the region and in Trinidad of students.
Right.
And I, because I teach one-on-one, I have intimate sessions and conversations with my students. And I teach from as young as 9 years old all the way to as 50 years old because I teach repeaters
Mm-hmm.
as well. And I've had
Mm-hmm.
that engagement with students where I realize failing maths is not like just another subject. Failing maths could hold you back from pursuing the dream career that you want, whether it's in the military, whether you want to go away and study. It is a barrier for a lot of people. And
Mm-hmm.
I find it's a problem that not a lot of people, not enough people are talking about or even trying to address. So here am I think I have a solution. I am determined to try and push it through and make something come out of it, you know. So I didn't give up. I felt like I wanted to when I eventually had to go to Fiverr and start looking for developers to move it from ChatGPT to a live site. And I
Mm-hmm.
was back and forth with a few developers. I eventually got a price that I wasn't able to afford at the time. So I kind of, at that point, I was like, you know what? I don't know what to do. I don't know who to turn to. I still asking a few people. Nobody telling me what I needed to get it done. So then I eventually turned to a past student of mine who's
Mm-hmm.
really into computers and technology. And he began to encourage me to go into command prompt and start putting things together. He doesn't have an IT background himself, but he's just very much into computers and he understands coding and
Right.
this kind of thing.
Okay.
So he was very busy, so he couldn't do it himself. But with the tips that he was giving me and the encouragement he was giving me, is like, Andre, you know, you're capable of doing this for yourself. You just have to do this, do that. He gave me a few pointers. And then when I eventually went into command prompt and I started doing stuff that I still don't really fully understand, you know, yeah, install lots of stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
install
yeah.
things, you know, because the
I mean,
computer was never used for
don't worry.
coding before, you
I
know.
doing IT for like 20 something years, and trust me, we don't ever understand everything. It's a real thing for you. Just be like,
Okay,
it
perfect.
working. Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
So yeah, just leave it
Yeah,
just
yeah, let's do it
yeah.
working. Yeah, go ahead.
I
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
that. I feel that. Yeah. So and after some time of doing the installs, well, I purchased the domain at first. So I had the
Mm-hmm.
domain, and then I had to build all the files on the computer. Well, the computer build the files, and I just had to store them in the correct places, you know, kind of thing. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it was really through the guidance of ChatGPT from there telling me, okay, you need this file, you need this file. And then I was confused because it was telling me about GitHub and Vercel and
Yes, yes, yes,
Netlify.
yes, yes.
And I'm like, I have no clue. I call him, the boy, I was like, what is GitHub? What is Netlify? And he's trying to explain it to me. And I'm like, still like confused.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
confused,
yeah.
you know, but eventually I realized Vercel is the server. Because he was telling me I would have had to host it, I could have hosted it locally on a local server, probably on a computer home here because not much people be using the site. So we were talking about all of the different things to figure out what would work best. And
Mm-hmm.
then I realized just hosting on this was the easiest thing. Um,
All
and then
right.
we're using GitHub to kind of send the files through. I think that's what it worked from
Do
there.
you
Yeah.
understand how GitHub? Did you understand how GitHub works?
Not fully.
All right,
So,
good, because I don't
well,
understand how GitHub works fully, so it's okay. All right,
yeah.
though.
All
We
I
in
know
the
is
same boat.
I type in git commands into the command prompt and get sending me stuff to Vercel. Apparently, that's as much as I could understand. So, and as I say, it'll work. So just leave it like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Don't get
yeah.
it.
I trust me. I understand what you went through or what you're going through because you have this
Mm-hmm.
desire and you want to do something and you're trying to and you're like, okay, it can't be that hard to get something on the internet and only after these amount of years that I've been doing it, I realized, okay, it's not that hard to get something on the internet. But trust me, the starting a process, no, it
It
wasn't
is
that simple. It
definitely,
was
yeah,
like, what? This? Okay, and then you learn all sort of stuff, and then okay, cool. So you're inside. And
yeah.
this is all. How long this process going on? 3 months, 4 months,
From
five
April to
5 months?
August.
Yeah. April to
April
August.
to August.
Okay.
So April, May, June, July, August. That's 4 months.
And how much hours you're putting behind it a day on average? Well, it wouldn't be every day, right? But let me say, like,
Yeah,
if you sit down for a session, how much hours
yeah.
you sitting down for a session to pump?
About 2 to 3 hours.
2 to 3 hours. Yeah,
2 to 3 hours.
that's
Yeah.
before either you have something
And
else to do or you get burnout.
or you get burned out and just go and lie down and knock out. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're sure right. That's exactly
Right.
true.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, and then when like during that process now, you usually have these kind of breakthroughs or kind of milestones that you just
Yeah.
remember, like when you get this to work or you get that to work. What's some of the milestones that you would have experienced throughout the process,
Well,
like when you get certain things to work? Yeah.
yeah. So before we moved into hosting on this and all these things, the first milestone was literally seeing the grid appear in ChatGPT's console
Yeah.
and actually playing it. Like I was so amazed that I could actually play the game, and where you have green squares for correct answers, red squares for wrong answers. Everything was working. The timer stopped when you finish, it pop up. So the fact that all of these things that I went back and forth with ChatGPT for weeks all came together, and I was like, wow, I could actually do this. Like
Yeah,
at that
yeah, yeah,
moment, I was
yeah.
like, okay, something could actually come out of this because I really like technology, yeah, and I really believe we live in the future. And I am very much on board with whatever technology could do. I really on board with anything aligned with technology. So I was happy to see that it is possible, especially with somebody with no IT background.
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, no official IT
No,
background,
yeah,
I
no,
should say.
yeah, because you see up to Form 2. If you have Form 2 IT knowledge, that means you just know input and output devices. Like, that's
Exactly.
that's
Yeah,
basically what it
printer,
is.
keyboard, them
Yeah,
are the
yeah,
things I
yeah.
remember. So,
Yeah,
and it has
yeah.
so many young people that I've met since the game has launched, and they know a lot about coding. I talk to a lot of people who is 11 years old, 12 years old, telling me, well, you need to code this differently. And I'm like, what are you talking about? What do you
Yeah,
know about
yes,
coding?
yes, yes, yes. And
But
yeah,
the
they
first
know.
major milestone I would say was when I saw it on thing, and then of course when the site eventually went live at CountmeinTT.com, I was
Mm-hmm.
blown away. I was so excited, and then it had so much more to come after that that I didn't even know about either. That blew my mind even further with app scripts and all these different things in Google
Right.
that
Yeah, 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 yeah.
that I had
Okay.
to integrate into it to gather these to submit form. And now I have the app scripts doing automatic emails, sending people emails about their position on the leaderboard, thanking them for playing the game. So I integrated a lot
Mm-hmm.
of different levels of technology with the app that I had no idea about. But it just opened up my mind to what else is possible? What else is
Yeah,
possible?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because um I built some things for school for my classes already, and
Okay.
like eventually I know I'm gonna put it online. I'm gonna create a website and put like different free tools for teachers to use and things. So like one of them is a wheel for to picture in class to do like
Right.
stuff.
Yes.
I
Mm-hmm.
create a whole game show thing where you could create teams and quizzes and all that kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
countdown
Yeah.
timers, all kind of tools that I just wanted to make my teaching life easier. And let me just build it. And I would sit down
Yes.
for okay, I did hit the 3 hour block once, but
Yeah.
I got it done because, well, of course, I have a little more knowledge about web development and things. So I was able to ask the
Right.
questions I needed to, but I still need to spend 3 hours to reprompt, ask the questions, get things better, say, no, you didn't do it correct this
Yes.
time, blah, 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 whatever the case is. So yeah, like what you did there, I probably have like about 6 projects going on right now. Just kind of
Wow.
building
Okay.
different things. But it's just for
Yeah.
fun because the reason I'm saying it is just for
Mm-hmm.
fun because I understand the passion that you have where you like
Yeah.
this thing benefited my students so much that I am going to make this accessible to more students because I just want to see learning take place. Like you really
Yeah.
want to see maths go somewhere, and I could feel that passion inside there because yeah, you spend months on this. Like you spend months on a project that you can't see any major monetary value or gain or something from it at this point in time, but you just
Yeah.
like, nah, boy, I just want to do this. It's like back in the days, you'd remember with a bike, they would get a frame and they would get the axle, they would get the thing, they would get the chain and whatnot, and they sit down and they're
Piece by
working on
piece.
building this
Piece
bike,
by
boy.
piece.
And you're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
why you like you could go and buy a bike? He's like, yeah, but I want to build this bike. And you're like, youth man, you're spending all your time
Yeah.
building this bike. But when they build the bike and they ride it, they smile out on that
Yeah.
man's face. That's the
Success.
yeah, that's the kind of smile that you giving like when you're giving over your story, you're saying it in such
Yes.
a way where like, yeah, you went through the pain of building this and now you're seeing the success of it, right? So
Yeah.
we reached to the point where you got through it, you and ChatGPT, or they probably still have an ongoing love-hate relationship with respect
Of
to different
course.
things and putting
Yeah.
things to get it in place,
Of
right?
course.
So what
Yes.
feature set you're on right now that you could give me like a sneak peek to say, yeah, right now me and ChatGPT arguing about how to get this part completed.
Well,
If I could get a behind the scenes peek. Yeah.
oh, you want to see?
No, you're not a show,
Okay,
You
just to
could
say,
just tell me, yeah.
no, well, we will have another fight for the past few days because the game started off with just a 12 by 12 grid. That was the original game I would have launched with. And then
Mm-hmm.
I visited a school last week, Tuesday, a primary school, to play the game with standard tools. Right? I was
Mm-hmm.
invited to play the game with some standard tools. And based on that engagement and teachers' request, I and some other people's advice, I decided to incorporate the smaller grids the 5 by 5 that we tried, have a 5 by 12, the normal 12 by 12, and 15 by 15. So
Okay.
because I only had the 12 by 12 grid, I was like, okay, it shouldn't be too hard to just copy everything that the 12 by 12 grid doing and just do for the other grids.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I could have just tell ChatGPT that and then I would just come out from there. I thought I could have just say that, right? But that wasn't the
Yeah.
case, you know. We
Wait,
had a little
yeah.
battle just last week, Tuesday into Friday. A few late
Mm,
night. I did a little bit of overnight on Tuesday,
mm.
and I was able to get it done eventually because I have a lot more understanding now about
Yeah,
the back
yeah.
end of things, you know. So
Right.
it didn't take me length of time, and he actually did it a lot faster. Because when we first met the hurdles, I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
I take a little break and I come back and then ask him, okay, let's start from the beginning. We need to do this, we need to add the 5 by 5 thing. And then he eventually just he did it. And I was like, great,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay.
So I was happy
That's cool.
about
That's
that.
cool. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
glad to hear you and ChatGPT had a little battle because we all for using AI to build their educational tools and whatnot. And to hear
Hmm.
somebody who doesn't have a technological background get through with it, I love to
Yeah.
hear that. I love to hear that. All right,
Yeah.
Oli, we're
Yeah.
moving on to the last segment here, which is we're going to start to ask the deeper questions about education. Because you
Hmm.
mentioned about 50% of people fail maths at SE and
Okay.
CSEC level. And those are
Yeah.
things that we need to kind of address in education. And technology is one
Definitely.
of the ways that we could address it. So let me see if we could talk about that a little bit and get some views from Andre. Not this Andre, but the other Andre. So yeah, we're back on technology being used in education is where we on right now, and I want to hear from you, Mr. Burton, because
Hmm.
I can't say Andrea again. Um, the ways technology could be used in education are like so wide ranging that it's
Okay.
become like a cliche, especially from the governmental level and from the administrative level. They'd be like, okay, we're going to integrate technology, we're going to integrate AI, all of those things, but as you realize, it's not that simple.
It's not.
It's not just wake up
It's
one day
not.
and be like, let's just build something technological for them or apply it. And from a teacher's perspective, especially a one-on-one tutor, you're dealing with a lot of people with their individual needs. So
Yes.
you know, like, okay, Jane like to do it this way, so we need to spend
Yeah.
time. This one, John, he need a warm up, so you had to play games with him first before
Yeah.
you start. And Jenny,
Right.
she just want to dive straight into the work. She ain't really have no time
Mhm.
for whatever that case, right? And
Yeah.
that diverse type of student set that you have, there are many different approaches. It same thing could be applied to technology, right?
Right.
So
Yes.
how have you seen different, not just your website, but how have you seen technology be used by the students that you would tutor? You don't have to call any
Mhm.
names or give out any information. But how have you seen technology work for them to help their education? Yeah.
Well, the first major way would be because I'm an online tutor primarily. That
Mm-hmm.
that basic not technology that we take for granted now a little bit, this face-to-face conversation that we having, although we're not in the same room.
Yeah.
That's one major way that is very effective. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Not for all students. Some students can't keep up with the online in a way that will be beneficial to them, right? So this is
All
one
right.
way.
True. Yeah.
Um, then there are a lot of websites. There are a lot of websites and resources on education for different, depending on what topic and what subject area. But in mathematics, in particular, I use a website called ixl.com,
Mm-hmm.
and it has accessibility to English, social studies, science. But the maths in it is very broad. They have a lot of topic areas. And honestly, that is where I got the idea of gamification from, because they have a whole section on games for maths.
Okay.
Just one grade.
How you found this website though? Like how you bounce up that website?
Googling, you know. I was just Googling. It's a subscription based. That one you have to pay for. If you have like students, it's like $2.99 US a year or something like that. Up to 25 students you could host at a time. But I was just Googling a day because I like to be efficient, and that's one thing I think technology helps us with, is to be efficient. And if it is, I have to look for a page in a book, take a picture, send it to you for you to get questions. That's taking up time in our session. I try to find a way for that process to move faster. And if I give you an IXL link, you click it, IXL asks you all the questions. So you just go through and you do the exercise, you know. So
okay, I understand.
Yeah. So technology takes away a lot of the work that we don't really like to do in many different professions.
Facts, correct. Yeah.
As a teacher in particular, for me, having to go and look for a particular type of question, and that's too much time. You know. So IXL is one website that opened my eyes up a lot to technology in education, and just from my own research, listening to podcasts and things like that.
Wait, you're a podcast listener? Okay, well, of course you're a podcast listener because you're on a podcast. But I mean, okay, wait, the sidetrack. Because I am a hardcore avid podcast listener. So let me hear your top 3, like the podcast you have to listen to every week.
Well, my life is not allow it every week, but I love to listen to the Diary of the CEO now. I like his content. I listen to Joe Rogan from time to time, not as much as before. And then put a little bit of confusion and drama. Some Candace Owens.
Candace? All right, okay.
All
right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you my 3, but go ahead. All right, so...
Is a real...
It's a very untapped treasure. It's an untapped treasure. Like, you could get so much gems from listening to other people just talk conversationally. Like, they mightn't even be talking about the topic that you wanted to hear about, but you hear something and it's like, wait, but I learned something there, but I could try that. Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah, okay. All right. So that's technology in education from the perspective of you went to websites and you found different things, right? Now, when you're dealing with certain students, you tend to see that technology could be a deterrent to them because their phones is a distraction, and when they go on the laptop, they're always lost and whatnot. And since you're online tutor, you don't really get to see all of it. But how do you think we as a society or population could get students to see technology more than just a place to play and consume, but a place to learn and create? Like how you think we could do that?
I think how could we do that? That's very difficult. That's very difficult because of the amount of distractions we have. I think if more people use it, if more adults, if we use it in a way that is more beneficial, I think they will see from example that they could do it. They could use it in better ways. But I know that there's a sect of young people that are really into this whole technology thing, and what they're going to do with that in the next few years is very interesting to see. But that's a tough question to answer there. I could only say just by leading from example. Us you launching a site and putting all the games up, and encouraging other students to probably put a game and you will put it up on your site, or I don't know, find different ways to give them that push to be creative. And they're very, like, I asked one of my students the other day a question, a more personal question, and they went to ChatGPT to ask. So it's there where they turn to ChatGPT for everything too, and they're not allowing themselves to critically think. So it's a real, I think we're in a real gray area right now, and I'm not sure what direction this is going to go, to be honest.
Yeah. No. I know it's a tough question. I told you at the start the tough questions will come at the end, so don't worry.
Sure.
Yeah, because it's a complex answer. It's a complex answer because the way that the world is at a tipping point right now in terms of how AI is going to be used and how people are using it. Because the intention of technology and the use of technology is two different things. Like splitting the atom was cool, but then it turned to atomic bomb. So like you had to kind of realize that, okay, AI is cool, but it could also be a big problem for the world eventually. So we have that technology thing. And I don't like when people just throw around, we could implement technology, we could just do this and we could do that. And I was like, no, it's not that simple. It needs to be well thought out, and you need to understand the mind of a student, not just in 1 year, but you have to understand that the mind of a student in 2026 cannot be different from the mind of the student in 2025. And how do you adapt that technology? And we come from a generation where it's a one size fits all, where you could, put something in place and they're going to last for 10 years. And then the next 10 years, you evaluate it and change it. But now it's like evaluating every 6 months, something like that when it comes to the students. Because I see that when I teach into like the way I used to teach when I started off, it are certain things that I could do now that just they don't resonate with. And I like, whoa, this used to work, but it's not working anymore. And technology gives us the ability, especially with like ChatGPT and Gemini and thing. You have the ability to create things fast and modify what you're doing. So the speed that we could change the way that we're teaching is going up because we need to change the way that we're teaching a little more regularly to deal with the kind of people that we're dealing, the kind of children that we're dealing with.
I honestly believe we need a drastic change. A lot of things in the education system hasn't changed for hundreds of years.
Yeah, correct.
Being honest, technology, so much has changed around us, and we have not touched the education system.
It's the same kind of
model,
talking down kind of model instead of them being a part of the solution instead of being told what the solution is. So I get you totally. Well, we have time for like one more question. So my one question will be an easy one. If you were this not easy at all. If you were like in the education system, a minister of education, or even a principal or what kind of thing, or whatever the case is, what's one thing that you would try to implement that will most likely make a change? So if it was something that has a high chance of succeeding if you were to implement it. So that could span from giving everybody a laptop to making sure everybody have internet. What let me hear what you think would be the highest chance.
One of my priorities, I think, would be I think we already have a way to identify the strong students.
Right.
So if we could do that in a way where we can formulate things in the classroom where the students are helping other students, I find that to be extremely effective, because they speak the language, they understand how their peers are thinking. Sometimes you'll have that difference where, you don't really want to listen to somebody your age, you don't really have the authority, but because they have this knowledge that the other student might need, they kind of give them that respect, at least from the experience that I have.
So like peer teaching. Funny enough, just the other day I was in class and I was teaching something, and one of the students in the class, or two of the students in the class, said that, we did this topic already in another class. And I was like, okay, cool, well, come and teach my class. And they came up and they taught the class, and it was highly interactive. I was like, whoa, they don't give me this kind of interaction, but because the peer was teaching them. So I think like peer teaching and them having the ability to solve the problem amongst themselves, that's a good one. That would be a high yield. Because they don't like to hear what big people have to say.
There's
It's probably like a kind of guidance model. All right, I get you, and I agree with you. So as we're wrapping up here, let me find out where people could find you. What do you do? Because I know you have AS online tutor, so you have A's online, and of course we just spoke about CountmeinTT, but so this is your official plug segment where you could plug anything, tell them what to follow you. Sure. All of the things that you plug, we'll put in the description of the podcast and on the shorts and all them kind of thing, and we'll tag you and all of that drama. But like what you what do you do, and how, if we were to find a way to make you more money, this is the moment you could get more clients.
Sure.
I just played. That's it. Yeah.
Well, I'm a math teacher by profession. I'm a math teacher, sorry. I'm a math tutor by profession. I'm not a teacher.
Right.
The business is online tutoring services, started in 2019. I've taught over 85 students one-on-one. I have close to 10,000 hours of tutoring hours.
Right.
And I teach from standard 3 to Form 5, adults who are repeating as well. So that's the main thing that I do. Aside from that, I've launched CountmeinTT.com. It is a game that is guaranteed to help improve the math skills of students from primary and secondary school levels. I'm looking for sponsors for CountmeinTT. So for anyone who's on board with promoting education and making learning fun, I would like anybody, because I got RIK to sponsor some prizes for September month for the winners on CountmeinTT. So I'm looking for more sponsors so we could keep that going, to keep the momentum and keep students excited. They want to win a prize, so it's really interesting to see that side of it, the competitive side of the students coming back multiple times to play the game over and over, because I want to see the name on the leaderboard, So anyone who's open to giving small prizes, big prizes, any kind of prize, gift cards, anything like that, it's all for the students and just to encourage them to learn. You can reach out to me. My Instagram is AS Online Tutor. It's right there on the screen. My number is 754-3315. You can contact me anytime. And I also do videography work. I don't have a business, but I work for a media company doing videography, editing, and these kind of things. So I have some skill sets there as well. But really and truly, tonight is about CountmeinTT and pushing that towards us.
Nice. Okay, cool. Well, I'm real glad to have had you on the podcast, because as I told you while we were talking, when a teacher is excited about something and they're willing to put in a bunch of extra hours unpaid without any clear reward, that just for the pure love of getting children to understand work better, I could get on with that anytime. I love to hear these kind of stories. So, check him out. AS Online Tutor online, and all of you all who listen to the podcast and reach to this point, that means you're invested. A lot of people have reached to the end of the podcast because the few people who's actually listened to the podcast, they invested. And when people comment, you just get deep comments because they listen all the way down to the end. So, glad to have you, boy Andre. And I wish you all the best, and I hope that you get some sponsors and things. Who knows? Maybe I might go in one of my staff meetings and they say, "Hey, you see that man you talk to on the podcast? Where we should organize something for him." So I'll leave it up to my staff to determine.
You have the school competitions, if you want to have something running, you could get done.
All right. Yeah. We could talk. We could do all the networking and see how it goes. All right, Oli, thank you very much for listening to the TriniTechCast podcast. This was an interview episode, and I hope that you all enjoyed it and you kind of heard the passion for it, because technology is all around us, and especially in educational technology, that is where we at. So, Oli, have a good one. I'll see you next week where Akeem and Michaela should be back, and we be talking about technology and all that other good stuff, right? So, later, Andre. Thanks for coming through, man.
All right, Andrew. Thanks a lot.